Good day and welcome. Tonight, we're diving into a story that has sparked intense debate across the country: immigration enforcement and the growing concerns around safety, both for Americans and those in detention centers. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you never miss our deep dives into the issues that matter most.
Second DHS law enforcement operation shooting that's happened this year. There was another incident in Portland. 5 people have also died in immigration detention so far this year. Why is immigration enforcement becoming so deadly under your tenure?
Immigration enforcement is exactly what the American people asked for. When we had a Democrat administration in the White House that facilitated an invasion of millions of people over our southern border and let people come into this country that were completely unvetted. We know for a fact that we had hundreds, if not thousands, of terrorists, suspected terrorists, criminal organizations and gangs that came in and have been committing criminal activities against American citizens for years now, that the American people said enough is enough. We want them out of our country. We want them brought to justice. And they trusted President Trump to go out there and to make America safe again. It is absolutely false to say that there's more incidents with our law enforcement than there was in history before. In fact, our accuracy and our operations are being conducted in a manner that is historic for accuracy and taking care of people and doing so safely. So the narrative with the press that they've perpetuated that we have more individuals that have been jeopardized or that our detention centers aren't at the highest standards is absolutely false. Our detention standards and the people that are being taken care of there are at the highest level they've ever been. They exceed state and local standards, and we'll continue to do that and make sure that people have the facts around how people are treated when they're brought into detention, and then we take them home. Yes.
Earlier today, during a congressional hearing, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem addressed recent incidents involving U.S. Department of Homeland Security law enforcement operations. She was specifically questioned about a recent deadly shooting in Minneapolis, which marked the second high-profile DHS law enforcement shooting this year. In addition, there was another deadly incident in Portland, and 5 people have died in immigration detention so far this year. Governor Noem's response was forceful. She framed immigration enforcement as a critical response to what she called a crisis at the southern border, citing concerns over unvetted individuals entering the country during the previous Democratic administration. According to Noem, these policies allegedly allowed hundreds, if not thousands, of criminals, suspected terrorists, and gang members into the United States, prompting the need for stricter enforcement. Now, it's important to unpack this. Immigration enforcement isn't just about border patrol and deportation. It's a complex system involving arrests, detentions, and sometimes lethal force when law enforcement operations encounter resistance or dangerous situations. Noem emphasized that under the current administration, these operations are conducted with historic accuracy, she says, and at standards that exceed state and local detention requirements. However, critics argue that even with improved standards, the rise in deaths both in detention centers and during enforcement operations raises serious questions. Advocates for immigrant rights point to the human cost and stress the need for reforms, oversight, and accountability in these systems. From a broader perspective, this debate is part of a national conversation on balancing safety, border security, and humanitarian responsibilities. It highlights the tension between enforcing immigration laws and ensuring humane treatment for those caught in the system. Understanding the numbers, the policies, and the real human impact is essential to having a fully informed view. As we continue to follow these developments, it's clear that immigration enforcement will remain a contentious issue with serious implications for policy, law enforcement, and American communities. If you're finding this breakdown helpful, hit that subscribe button because we'll continue to explain the facts, the context, and the nuances behind the headlines. Finally, when we look at detention standards, Governor Noem insists that the care provided is at the highest level ever, aiming to correct misconceptions spread by the media. Whether you agree or disagree, it's worth examining how policies are implemented on the ground and how they affect real lives. Subscribe to stay informed, and we'll keep bringing you the stories behind the stories so you can understand not just what happened, but why it matters.